So you finally went out there and did it. You went and spent 6 months worth of paychecks on silver and gold. Now what? Now what's the next step in your stacking journey? Is it just to accumulate more? Or is there something more that you can do with your stack while you have it? So, interesting question. Once you've accumulated all this silver and gold, other than just kind of burning a hole in your safe, what do you do with it? Now, this is really more of a question for prepper stackers rather than just traditional stackers, because the collectors and I guess pure stackers amongst us, I guess you just hold on to it. But is there anything else you could be doing with your silver in particular? Anything else that could be useful, beneficial, kind of an added benefit of holding it? So I made a previous video where I asked, if there was any mechanism for borrowing against, your silver other than to just straight pawn it. The downside with pawning is that obviously the interest rates that you're going to get on pawning any type of silver, not going to be great. But the reality is that if let's say, for example, you're in an environment where prices of, silver are skyrocketing, or potentially even the other way, where silver's, falling off a cliff, potentially it doesn't make sense to sell, right? I mean, that wouldn't be the time that you would want to get rid of your stack. Same thing if prices are on the way up, the question is, am I going to be able to buy back into my stack? So if you're a stacker and you're also a prepper, what is it that you can do with silver? Now, I've watched plenty of videos that talk about the different attributes that silver has, like antimicrobial properties. So, but what does that mean in real terms? What does that mean for the everyday real person? Can I throw some silver into, my water pot and hope it kills, some microbes? What is it that you can do with it that, provides that additional value? There's got to be certain things that you can do. For example, versus, other metals like copper. Copper, you can make piping, you can make wire, you can do a bunch of different things. What is it that you would use silver for? Now, the reason that I asked the question is, obviously many in the community have lots and lots of silver. So other than just, sitting in a corner somewhere or hidden somewhere for the SHTF or, as a savings mechanism, which I personally have heard many of you say, and I fully agree, that's basically what I use silver for, is it's an anti-spending mechanism, first and foremost. Basically by storing value in these kind of things, not for inflation protection, not for it's going to go to the moon, but just really because once it's in this form, you're a lot less likely to spend that value, whether it fluctuates or not. I think silver is actually perfect for that. But is there something else? Is there something else that I'm missing that you can do with silver, like on an everyday basis, that really kind of provides an additional value, aside from just the monetary value, the stacking value that we're all familiar with? I think it's an interesting question because, like I said, like when I think of copper, there's other things that I could think, you would use copper for. But when I think of silver, not so much. Again, I do recall that silver does have, those certain properties to it, as far as, killing off microbes. But what does that mean? How would I use it? What would I actually do with it? Or why would I have it, to take advantage of that kind of thing? I think those things are kind of important because, again, with stacking, if you've been doing it long enough, you got to find every reason that there could be to have this kind of, medium as part of your assets. Again, for me, it functions mainly as a, store of value, but not something that keeps up with inflation or any of that, subjective content. My thing is that, like anything, you want to know what are the true values of something that you put your money into. For example, I mean, stocks, if I took all of the money that I have in metals and put it into stocks, most of that I probably could borrow against inside, a brokerage account. They let you do that kind of thing. So it's an asset, you can borrow against it. Silver, gold, not so much, especially when you consider that from the community standpoint, it's such a low risk asset and, it's thousands of years in the making with its reputation. Okay, how do those things transition or translate into value for me? Flexibility, additional things other than just holding the metal. I think those things are important, like I said, and I think there's, generally speaking, the rest of the world, particularly here in America, is not educated on metals at all, particularly silver, but also gold. Most people have no idea the value of either one of them. So come SHTF, it's probably going to be of limited utility. That being the case, if I get stuck with it, what else can I do with it? Let me know your thoughts.